Okay. Hello, my name is Guest808. Today I'm going to be going over a technique that I talked about in a previous video, but I'm going to be going over it in a little bit more detail than I did previously. This was a request made by a couple different people, and I figured I would fill that request, considering that people seem to want to see it. I'm going to be playing Heihachi for this demonstration because it's the character that I personally play the most right now. It's the character I have the most fun with. And I don't know, I just like him. The old man's cool. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to go over was a bit of a review. So this is first position. This is how people are normally seen playing fighting games on Hitbox. It's the most common way to play the game. You'll see people, this is how I personally play Street Fighter most of the time. But this is not the way that I personally play Tekken. I play Tekken in a position known as second position. Now, this is a really strong thing in this game specifically because of how important and how fluid the movement is. And having my forward button actuated with two fingers allows us to do some things that I'm going to get into right now. So the first thing I'm going to get into is Korean backdash, because I think it was the most requested topic for me to do again slowly, and for me to take a little bit of extra time with. So I'm going to do that real quick. So Korean backdash in second position is performed. It's actually very simple once you kind of understand the basics of it. So the first step is hold back, right? And then what you're going to do is you're going to use this hand that I'm moving right here. I believe this is my right hand. Excuse the dyslexia in this situation. But you're going to take your right hand and you're going to be using that to actuate your forward button instead of doing all the motions with one hand. So if you're unaware of the way that Korean backdash is done on Hitbox, it's actually very, very easy. You hold back and you alternate between tapping these two buttons. And I'm going to do this very slowly. This is how you would do it with one hand, for example. And as you can see, he's backdashing. And that's just done. And notice how I'm not holding both buttons down at any time. It's down, then forward, down, then forward. And because of SOCD, that forward is giving me a back input. Now we're going to take advantage of this. Now, instead of hitting this, you can only do this as fast as one hand will let you. And there are some techniques that you can use to do this again with one hand. If second position is something you're not comfortable with, there's also this other technique where you sort of roll your fingers on the edge of the button right here like this. And as you can see, he's backdashing. And then that, with some practice, you can get pretty good at that. I'm not so great at it, but But let's go over the technique that I do, which is the technique that involves second position. So that's when you use this other hand in junction with your left hand, right? So we're going to do the same technique that we did here, but we're just going to use two hands. So it's just, and we're going to sort of combine that sliding motion. And then this allows us to really get things cranking, right? You can really start moving. And right here is something I'm going to show later, this wave dash technique. But, you see with this, really just start moving. And I'm going to do this really slowly so you guys can really see this. So it's going to be... no, he's not backdashing right now. But this is the motion that you're going to be doing. Literally just holding back and tapping these two buttons. Doing it like this will give you the backdash more consistently. And as you get better, you can pick up in speed. Right? Until you just start moving. That's a very simple technique. It just takes a lot of practice to be able to do this along with the other things that this technique allows you to do, which I'm going to go into now. So the next thing I'm going to be talking about is wave dashing. And that's going to be combined sort of with electrics. These topics are sort of intertwined because of the way the motion is with your hands, and I'm going to get into that here in a second. So the first thing I'd like to do is show you again the concept of it real quick so you understand how this is going to work. So a wave dash is actually, again, a pretty simple motion once you understand the basics of Hitbox. You're going to tap forward, and then you're going to roll a quarter circle. And that's it. you're just going to continue to do that motion, repeating. Let's do this very slowly. So, now that we know the motion for wave dashing, let's use the technique that we're aware of to kind of change up how we're going to do it a little bit. Let's get the slide on. So, the normal technique, as you know, is forward roll quarter circle, forward roll quarter circle. And that's all well and good, but you can only really go as fast as your fingers will let you. Now, mind you, I have a lot of practice doing this, so I can go kind of fast. But when we're using second position, for player one side, the input does not change, all right? And I'm going to do this really slowly so you understand. And it's going to have the same sort of concept as the Korean backdash did. So I'm going to tap forward my right hand, like this, and then I'm going to roll a quarter circle, okay? Just like that. So it's forward, quarter circle. And take note of how when I was doing the Korean backdash, I told you make sure that these are separate inputs. You don't want to roll backward. You don't want to roll forward quarter circles while you're holding back. You won't get the Korean backdash, right? Well, I guess you can actually. It's just it's a dirty backdash. This is a real backdash if you look at the inputs. So for the wave dash, you want to actually fully roll the quarter circle, and you can check the inputs for that. And then if you practice this a while, it becomes pretty easy to do, to the point where you can get a little wacky with how fast you can pull some of this stuff off. And that leads us, of course, to probably the final thing for this video, I believe, and that's going to be electrics. Now, electrics are great, but besides that, now luckily, with second position, we actually have kind of an easy access to electrics. So what we're going to do is we're going to tap forward again. This concept did never. This is the common variable here. Your right hand tapping forward, and I'm going to tap down, and then my right hand is going to come down on forward and on my 2 button at the same time. So at the same time, forward and 2. Don't look at what's happening on screen. Just look at my hands. Just these 2 are going to come down. So forward, down, both. And you'll get an electric. And this motion is so similar to the wave dash motion that it's actually pretty easy to wave dash into an electric, because you're doing the same motion, you're just modifying the end a little bit. So wave dash, electric. And I'll do that really slowly. That's the wave dash. That's the electric. And let's do the electric a couple more times, just very slowly. So and I'll stop exaggerating here so you can see it in action. Oh, I messed that one up. So yeah, it all just comes down to drilling these motions slowly and with intention. You don't want to sit here and hit the buttons all soft and just do it slow. You want to do it with intention. You want to hit it with about the same force as you would be hitting it in a real match. But you just want to do it slowly. And you just sit here and you get used to this. And this becomes second nature. Before you know it, you're going to be backdashing and wave dashing and doing electrics and all kinds of wacky stuff. It's just a matter of practice and how much time you're willing to put into it. And then I truly hope that this video finds you well. I hope that there are topics in this video that you can apply to your own gameplay. Even if you're not a Mishima player, you know, this sort of thing is honestly pretty powerful in my opinion. And moving on towards Tekken 8 with the nerf of movement options, I think that these techniques may become a little bit more viable and helping players sort of circumvent, not necessarily circumvent, but feel like they have a little bit more choice in where they want to be on the screen. That's all. Thank you very much for everybody who decided to tune in and watch. If you have any questions or any recommendations for another video for me to make, please feel free to message me or to leave a comment on this video. That would be incredibly helpful. I'm always open to new ideas. And interacting with you guys is really awesome. And thank you guys very much for 3,000 views on the other video, on the original video that I made discussing this topic. It is honestly just it's such an honor to have something of mine be recognized by a community that I am very passionate about. Anyway, thank you all for joining me. I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.